Hello and welcome to a new episode of Airport CEO here on the channel. Before we get too far into today's video, if you should end up enjoying this video, consider leaving a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, you're always welcome to hit subscribe. Alright, so in the last episode, we finished off with starting to build our landside. And the reason why this is so important is because if we place down everything we need here on the landside, this will very much help us in figuring out how we can structure our main terminal building. Now, the landside at Geneva Airport, of course, comprises of drop-off zones and, of course, so basically for all the outbound traffic, and of course then also pickup zones for all the arriving passengers. The challenge here will be to bring that all into one level, because obviously we can't build above ground with roads, so we can't make any overpasses, unfortunately. But we just have to work our way around that and have to fit all that into this rather tight space. Now, given the space constraints we have here on ground floor level, it is important to work out what we are actually doing specifically in these areas. Now, obviously inside the terminal, this will only be the inbound passengers that are handled here, so this will be the arrival hall. And then, just like in real life, on first floor level, we will have the departure hall, so where we have all check-in going on and stuff like that. But in real life, we obviously have the outbound passengers being dropped off on first floor level, and we can't do that here. So all outbound passengers will be dropped off here on ground floor level. So we need to make sure that passengers can move from ground floor to first floor level. The good thing is that in real life there is actually also just something like that at the airport. It's also used by some passengers, because actually some passengers do arrive on ground floor level, although most of them would probably arrive on first floor level. But as there is something similar in real life, we can take that as inspiration. Alright, so as mentioned a few times now, inbound traffic is handled at Geneva Airport on ground floor level and outbound on first floor level. But how does this work in real life? Because obviously passengers do not always arrive at the exact correct position or place, so sometimes they need to move from one level to the other. Well, at Geneva Airport, you obviously have the parking spaces for short-term parking on ground floor level, but then you have basically the overpass, where you have the drop-off zones for the outbound passengers, and then you have elevators and stairs that basically connect these two levels. You can actually also go inside the terminal, where there's also some escalators and elevators that can bring you up to first floor level. Now, in this case, we will not build these escalators or elevators because we do not have the space for them. So we will have to manage that all passengers that arrive on ground floor level that have to reach first floor level will have to do that basically outside the main terminal building. So what we right now have here is like this very narrow stripe where we have elevators and escalators from where passengers then can go up into the departure hall. And what we then also want to use here is basically that this is not just the connection point when you have to go upwards, because right next to it you can see we have the short-term parking, but underneath that we will be building the parking garage, which also in real life in Geneva is placed there. So underneath this, and basically throughout this small strip, you will then be able to go through basically all levels of the landside. Alright, so with that done here, we have a few more things we want to look at and tackle in this episode. We still need to place down a bit more foundation of the terminals and connect up the satellite terminals with the main terminal building. And we also want to start working a little bit on the interior, mainly on the departure hall. Alright, so the first thing I want to place down is actually the room where we will later have the luggage retrieval. And in real life that would be basically on ground floor level, but as we don't really have space for that here, we will compromise a little bit and change up this setup a little bit and have it on level -1. And since we are doing basic foundation works, I also want to connect up the satellite terminals with the main terminal building. So basically we will have passengers boarding aircraft obviously from ground floor level or level 1, but then they will go through tunnels underneath the airfield towards the main terminal, and that will both be for inbound as well as outbound passengers. So we are connecting that up here so that passengers can arrive into the baggage retrieval area. But obviously we also need to have the outbound passengers being able to go down there, and that's what we work on here. So that basically means that we are building a path from the security area of the departure hall, where we are then adding some stairs down to level to ground floor level, and from there then to level -1, so that they can connect up with the tunnel system, which will ultimately bring them to the satellite terminals. And as regards to the satellite terminals, now I haven't quite decided yet, but I mean, in real life there is definitely international traffic, so non-Schengen traffic going out of some of the satellite terminals, and I think I will decide on, or I think it will basically land on having 2 of the satellite terminals handling international traffic and 1 non-international traffic, but I haven't fully decided on it yet, so we will get into that at a later stage in this season. Now, when it comes to the departure hall, there are again some challenges in the architecture. Not that it is super complicated, it's just that there are some things in real life that we can't do in the game. You see here at Geneva Airport, the check-in area is on level 1, and from there you then go up to level 2 to go to security. And as you can see, well, it's pretty open. And this kind of build we can't do because there are always solid floors in Airport CEO. Unfortunately, it would be lovely if they had this feature, but we can't really open it up, so we just have to build it fully solid and massively as the game basically allows us. But the principle of having check-in at level 1 and then security on a level 2, that is something that we will keep up here in the game as well. But it of course means that we then have to bring passengers back to level 1 after they have cleared security, because the jet bridges in the game will always be on level 1. Now, while building this area, obviously we are adding quite a few elevators, but quite a few more escalators. And I have actually never had an issue with adding a lot of stairs, escalators and elevators in the game, but I have, to be fair, probably also never had an area just like this with that many elevators and especially escalators in one small part of the game world. However, I came across something that I'm not entirely sure if that is just the gameplay or if there was actually a bug. But when I was starting to place down a few more of these escalators, the game actually said no.
Computer says no.
You can't do that. There are too many escalators in this area. Which was a bit confusing, as again I've never come across that. I find it very interesting. I did work my way around it by removing a few escalators from the landside area, which we easily can do, and I can also say that because I have obviously played a little bit ahead, I haven't really come across this issue since, and there are other areas of the airport where we're placing down quite a few escalators as well, so my guess is it's a bug, but I'm not entirely sure. If you have ever come across this, I would be very interested to know from you, so please write in the comments if you've seen that. But yeah, that was just a little thing that I experienced while building this. And yeah, as I said, I managed to find a workaround which doesn't really impact the airport, and actually at a later stage in this area we're adding even more of these escalators without any issue. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine what really was the reason for that. And so as the last task of today's episode, it was time to place down the check-in desks, which I funnily enough first placed down the wrong way around, but luckily I did actually discover my mistake, so I could fix it, as you can see here. So yeah, now we have a huge chunk of the land side done. We have done a lot of our foundation work, and we're even starting to work on the interior. So I think we have made some great progress here in the last few episodes. And therefore it is, I think, time now to end today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.